Hey everybody, Joel here. Now, if you're uber ambitious, yet you tend to get frustrated with yourself a lot, or you get really frustrated with something that you perceive as a failure, this video is absolutely for you. Here's the first very interesting statistic, and it's kind of a sad one, but I have to share it with you. Who do you think are the people that commit suicide the most on the planet? Is the people who kind of, they might not have very much ambition or whatever, or it's the valedictorians of the world. It's the uber, it's the people that are really, really motivated, ambitious in life. Those are the ones. It's the really ambitious people who are the ones statistically who commit the most suicide because they feel like they've never achieved their goals. They're always setting higher and higher goals for themselves, and when they don't reach those goals, they become depressed. So here's a really good video that's gonna help you enjoy the process while you build your business, and it's so important. So, and it's called the gap, okay? So there's two components. You've got your ideal over here, and your reality. So the more ambitious you are, the bigger your ideal of the perfect life that you want. So maybe some people, with good ambition, well, they want to make a mortgage. Okay, they want to make maybe a mortgage payment. That was when I got started. Hey, if I can just pay my mortgage with GVO, I'm contributing to my family, right? And then maybe the Uber entrepreneur, the Uber person who has tons of ambition, well, maybe the big M word isn't enough for them. They don't want to be a millionaire. They want to be billionaires, okay? Maybe they want to own a 30,000 square foot home. It doesn't matter. So the point I'm trying to make here is this applies to everybody, and it really depends on your ideal. So again, when I got started, my mortgage in my 800 square foot townhouse was like $500 a month. If I could pay my mortgage, hey, I was doing well. Then of course, something happened. What happened after I reached that goal? Well, I want to make enough money where I can replace my job income. And it just keeps going up and up and up, okay? So the ideals based on your ambition are gonna be different for every single person. But here's what happens, okay? Let's say you want to pay your mortgage, that's your first goal, and the reality is you get to $400 per month, okay? Or you finally reach that goal, and let's say your mortgage is $2,000 a month. That's for a pretty big home, actually. What happens? No, I don't want to just pay my mortgage. I want to make a full-time income. Now let's define a full-time income at $5,000 a month, okay? So these are things that are centered around your ideal. So your ideal, once you reach a certain ideal, it becomes reality. Understand that. So your goals are over here. Your ideal life is, hey, I want to make a full-time income from home. Once you reach that ideal, it becomes a reality. But what happens with really ambitious people is their ideals change, okay? And that's called the gap, okay? And what that means is basically, as you reach certain goals, you tend to increase your goals. And what really happens is, as your goals go from a mortgage, then becoming a millionaire, then going from a millionaire, let's say as an example, because it happens for a lot of people, once they hit millionaire status, they want to become billionaires, right? So they're always living in their ideal world. And because they're always living in their ideal world, their real world is never enough, okay? And a lot of people, once they hit that billionaire status or even millionaire status, again, it's going to be different for everybody, they find goals, other goals. What's the goal? Well, I'm a billionaire. Now I want to leave a legacy. Okay? So here's what I'm trying to really hit home to you guys is uber ambitious people are always comparing their reality of where they are today to where they want to be. The problem is once you start hitting certain goals, your goals change. They change all the time. Again, for me, I wanted to make $400 a month to cover my mortgage. Then, I want to make $2,000 a month. Then, I want to make $10,000 a month. Then my goals became, I want to build GVO into a $100 million a year company, which I still haven't quite hit. We're doing a strong 8 figures now, but my goal was to hit 8 figures. Now I want to hit 9 figures, right? Now here's why I enjoy the process now, is the bigger or the more ambition you have as an entrepreneur, the bigger your gap becomes, okay? And this gap is what is really between how you're living in your reality, between how your ideals are. And once you understand that your goals continuously increase, your ideal always increases based on your realities, the gap always exists, right? So what happens is this. Let me take away this line. Here we go. Let's look at this for a second, and let's say this is your reality of where you're living, and your ideals increase, your gap just keeps getting bigger, right? To go from a millionaire to a billionaire is a lot harder to do to go from nothing to being a millionaire, right? It's a lot more money. So what happens with people that are uber ambitious is because they're always comparing to their reality to what their ideal is. Now I'm going to erase this just so that you really get the point here, is the gap just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. And what is that gap? That's your perception of your own failures, when they're really not failures, right? So as your ideals, as your ideals go up, right? You want higher and higher and bigger goals. What happens is your gap between reality and your ideals increases as well. Okay? So guess what? Celebrate when you have a large gap between what you want out of your life versus what the life you are that are living. It means you're uber ambitious, and guess what? Here's what will change that so that you're happy in life, rather than some statistic of people who feel like they're always a failure and they end up committing suicide. Recognize that this gap, because you're always hungry, you're always pushing your business forward, means what? It means you're just friggin' ambitious. And the more ambition you have, the bigger your gap gets. To really enjoy and love the process through all of this, all you have to do is recognize that, hey, I have a big gap. Why? Because I'm a really ambitious person. And this is how you kind of close that gap. You never will. First, recognize that you can't change it because you're really ambitious between your ideals and your reality. But here's what you can do, is do not compare your reality to your ideal. What you want to do is compare your reality, the reality of today, okay, today's reality, versus, okay, the reality of, guess what? Your past. So if I look at this based on myself, and you'll see this in yourself as well, well, my past reality is I wanted to make $400 a month, right? That was my first to pay my mortgage. Well, now, let's just say, I'm making personally 5 figures per month. Okay, that's just based on a paper salary, okay? I'm not here to brag, I'm not here to do anything, but when I compare it to where I want to go, it's like, man, Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, the guy's like 12 years younger than me, and he's the youngest billionaire on the planet. What did I do wrong? When I think of it based on what my own ideals are, yeah, sometimes it puts me down, but when I focus on where I came from, man, I wanted to make $400 a month. I'm making well over $400 a day easily every single day. And when you look at that, compare your reality to where you came from, not where you want to go, that helps you to really enjoy the process. It helps to close that gap. And again, the bigger your gap is, celebrate it, because it means you're what? You're a super amazing entrepreneur that has ambition, and that ambition will always climb, right? The entrepreneur always enjoys the climb, right? Once you reach the pinnacle, it's kind of boring. So you're always creating that climb for yourself. And if you have a setback, then you get really frustrated, really down on yourself. You get friggin' really just pissed off with yourself. You become non-productive and all that kind of stuff. What you do when you hit those moments, one, treat them as learning experiences, and two, move on quickly, recognizing that that's just part of the gap in your brain between your ideal and your reality. Again, if you want to close that gap and enjoy the process as you go up this climb, because it's really friggin' hard to be an entrepreneur, then focus on where you came from, not where you want to go. When you look back at where you were 10 or 15 years ago compared to where you are today as an entrepreneur, it'll make you realize that, man, I have made a lot of friggin' progress, right? So that's your tip for today. Folks, if you love this video, please share it with your friends. And if you have any questions or comments, just post below. So focus, again, in summary, that as an Uber entrepreneur, the more ambitious you are, the bigger your gap becomes. When you focus on your gap as something negative, well, then you're always going to be down on your success. When you focus and close that gap based on where you were versus where you are now instead of where you want to be, well, then it helps you enjoy that process and keeps you motivated. So till next time, folks, get in the discussion, post your comments below, and please share this with your friends, and I'll see you next time.